Morning, fellow creators. Ben here from Cinder Studios. It is Thursday, April 23rd. I just looked at the date and already forgot. It's about 8:20 a.m. I am off work the next 2 days because here in Pittsburgh, last year, whatever, city officials and the NFL decided it would be great is to have the NFL draft in Pittsburgh. A city with the population, at least in the tight area, of about 300,000 people. And this event is supposed to bring in 500 to 700,000 people over 3 days. They're like, yeah, this is the perfect place. A city whose road system was designed around horses and buggies in the 1700s, and whose interstate has not been updated since the 50s when it was built. Yeah, let's shove 500,000 people into that city. That's fucking brilliant. So, I decided to take those 2 days off to follow the advice of city officials, which is, if you have to drive during these days, don't!
Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
So I'm not going to. So, this gives me a little bit of time to work in the studio. I just finished up wiring this new piece, which I finally finished. This is called Ignite Thy Heart. I've realized in working on this one, it's probably not going to go into the show next year, but thematically this actually works for what will be probably some coordinated efforts with Red Fishbowl and Pride Month, so this will fit well in that. So I will probably take it down to the gallery sometime in May for June. Outside of that, I'm in a pretty good mood, all things considered. 2 weeks ago, my car broke down on the side of the highway.
You killed the car.
It spent 2 weeks at a repair shop just for them to be like, this is so far over our heads, we can't touch this. And it got dragged to a dealership yesterday, where it's going to sit for another 2 weeks before they even touch it. So I've been without my regular car, and especially last week, it really was screwing with my brain. I'm to the point now, though, where it's like, I can't do anything about this at this point. It is so out of my hands, there is no point in even worrying about it. And getting back into the studio to do more paintings and stuff like that always helps me clear my head. So that's where I'm at now. So to catch you guys up on some projects, and it's been a couple weeks since I've had a vlog, I had this guy started. I don't know if I had started it in that vlog or like still had the sketch going on for it, but the idea behind this was similar to the last piece I did with the charcoal. I'm like, let me try to do that on like a black surface with pastels. So while it sort of worked, I really don't like how it looks in general. So I'm using this as sort of just a base of this is what the idea is. And I have basically recreated that on a completely separate, but exactly the same kind of canvas, and same size and everything. Sketched that out in white charcoal, and then clear coated it so it stays. So this will just be straight up acrylic, and this I'm just going to use for that first few initial layers to get myself back up to speed. So I'm basically recreating the same thing. So that is sort of the current acrylic project, which I'm not working on today. Well, at least not working on yet today, I should say. Because the only thing I have to do today that's a chore, so to speak, is go grocery shopping. Because I'm rotating of loaner vehicles for the next few weeks. So let me show you this big oil piece I've got going on. Some of you may recognize this piece as one that I got started with acrylic a couple of weeks back, and I was using the end of the broom to mess around with color. I've since gone over that with oil, multiple layers of it. I gotta move this now because we've got glare. There we go, flipped it around, now we're right with the light, so it works. So this is a fun piece. I was actually working on this Tuesday. So normally Tuesday nights I stream on Twitch. The past 2 weeks I haven't, just because it's like I've been so stressed about the car that it's like I can't sit in performance mode, especially in the evenings. Like by the time I get home from work, I'm like, screw it, I'm not in performance mode. This time of the morning, definitely am, so we're fine. So this piece is called Breach and Reflect, and I can't remember how far along any of this was the last time you guys saw it, unless you follow me on Instagram, in which case you're seeing the process as a whole. So this entire piece is reversible. So it's basically two paintings in one. So I've mostly been working on the green side at this point. I need to bring in some more yellows for this middle transition area. What's interesting about this, and you'll see this more when I flip it over, but these paths sort of come down and kind of cascade down, and there's a waterfall that kind of comes out of both of them and connects in the center, which will be much later in this process. Next thing what I want to do here this morning is bring in those yellows and golds, especially like right in here. Try to avoid them up here because I don't really need that up there. And then I'm going to mix this. I've got this pigment stick that is a blue ochre. I'm going to mix that with some of this mixed dark deep gray that I made out of pastels, so it's nice and thick, and get some more blues up top and everything like that, where I really need to amp up those shadows. Now, when I flip this, the other side I have not done as much with yet, mostly just the darks. Now, all of a sudden, you get this, which the most your eye really looks down when you're looking down this way, is you get to, actually right about where the camera cuts off is here. And you just think it's always like a little kind of like reflecting pool, but it's green, because it's the other piece. And then looking up, you have this forest on a hill with this citadel up on top, and then it's those crossing paths coming down, which, as long as I paint this correctly, which I should, it's a simple enough design, at least in the center anyway, that those sort of cliff faces between the two of them will look fine on either side. So I'm pretty excited with this. I'm probably not going to touch the red stuff today, just still focusing primarily on this side. But yeah, I sat Tuesday and did most of the highlights here, which has been great. I'm probably going to do some kind of like speckling of stars up in both of the skies to at least give that as sort of a unifying, reflecting theme area, something like that. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with this, and that's where I'm going to get myself back into. And now that I've got you guys caught up with all my crazy life events, I'm just going to go ahead and work on this. So, because it's me, I zoomed in to record this yellow section and then proceeded to not hit the button, and so all of that was gotten missed. So, which is great, because this was a really fun section to do, which I do not have on camera now. But I'm ready to tackle the upper blues and to really kind of finesse out the last, I don't want to say the last 5%, because I'm going to do, of course, another big detail pass at the very, very end of this piece when I'm done with both sides. But with where I'm at now, when I get these dark blues in here, it's going to get it to the point where I can say that side is basically done, or at least done enough. But this has been a lot. And if you noticed in that segment I did record, I'm using a remarkably small brush for this entire process. Like that. Get a little closer there. There you go. There's the extent of those bristles. I'm doing this on purpose, primarily so I don't get too... this might sound weird because I'm using such a small brush, but I don't get caught up in the details too much. I'm getting... building out the sort of illusion of detail, so to speak. But I'm mostly sitting and stepping back and just using that brush at that distance. Because I'm trying to essentially get the color and light of the whole piece and make sure that's right without worrying about specific little lines. Like even looking here, I'm going to actually zoom in here now. What's showing up as detail in this case is basically just contrast. There is some blending happening in here now too, especially with what I was doing with the brush that I didn't get to record, unfortunately. But all of that's happening just with me stepping back and focusing on value and color. I'm going to mix up this blue, dark blackish blue. Utilizing this, I actually might just need the stick, and then some. If I need it, if I really need it, I've got this phthalo blue red shade, which I might have to grab a little bit of. But I'm basically just going to slice off a piece of this stick and start mixing it up with color, just to get that where I want it. And I've noticed something really interesting with oil paints, especially for this piece, most notably. So the upper darks here I did with, it's a red mixed with raw umber. And I don't know if this is true for all oil paints, but I've actually noticed there is a slight color shift for some of these, which is like because I'm used to high quality acrylics, and these are for the most part high quality oils. But it could just be the sheen difference. Because once it dulled out, it changed a little bit, but I was like, huh, that's interesting. So I'm really happy with this so far. I noticed, so the yellow I have been using is Hansa yellow, and Hansa yellow overall is a relatively cool yellow.
Oh, hello, dripping yellow madness.
And in being a cool yellow, I realized by the time I was getting down here, even using it in its more transparent form mixed with some Galca gel, is that it's still too cool for moving into this red section. So after I get the blues done, what I'm going to end up doing more than likely is mixing that yellow with sort of an oranger color. See, the next one up in my set is this Indian yellow, which is a lot more orange in and of itself. So that mixed with a little bit of this orange for that next pass once I flip this. So this is, I sort of did this like back to front this way. But when I flip it, I'm probably going to start working from the middle up, at least for those first initial layers. So I can blend that in with those yellows, and that actually looks okay. And of course, then once that dries and oxidizes out, I'll have to probably go over it one or two more times, because when I put the waterfall in, it's going to be back and forth, and I'll have to rework some stuff in that as well. And I'm glad I'm trying to be a little sparing too, because I don't have a lot of this Hansa yellow left. And right now, I don't really want to have to go to the art store for one tube of paint. especially when I'm driving a bunch of loaner vehicles. Might be able to do it on the weekend, but yeah. Okay, I'm ready to flip this thing around, and I'm realizing something the more I work on this. And it's that when I do anything with oil paint, I have a really bad problem with mixing too much paint. This is all the leftovers. Yeah, at this rate, I likely won't be working on the acrylic piece today. But I'm pretty much on a roll here, having a blast working on this. And at least for the time being, because I do still want to hit the grocery store this morning, I think I'm going to get myself up to these mid-level of these yellows and oranges. Now that I've flipped this over, I can see, you know, where that is sort of sitting with that back and forth of the baseline and the cliffs here. Especially right here, I can tell that that's something I'm going to have to fix a little bit. Not too much, but this section where I've kind of pushed that in is looking really good. Same up here, that's pretty solid. So if I can at least get that done, I should be able to get a decent way through this. But I believe, at least for today, I think this should be a good place to call it a vlog, since I've now caught you guys up to where I'm at currently. And by the time I end up back into either this piece or something else, actually I can pretty much guarantee that something about this process or the other one will end up being a quick tip or something for next week. So I'm going to do my best to kind of hang in there and not lose my mind not having my own car. And I hope you guys, as always, stay inspired. Also have to make sure I add some either extra spirits or the Galca gel to this, because I've noticed something, again, something I've noticed with oils, because I don't use them often, is that earth colors and cool colors will dry really quick, all things considered. At least, not really quick, I mean, it'll be dry in a couple of days. Yellows and reds take an absurd amount of time to dry, like at least 3 to 4 times longer, if not even freaking longer. So all of this stuff, especially up here too, I'll be using the quicker drying Galca gel to avoid that issue. But yeah, like these darks all in here, like they might be a little tacky. Actually, there is still wet red on here. This red that's been on here has been on here for like 2 weeks. It's still wet. That's why I don't like. That's the problem with oil paint in a lot of ways. It's the reds and the yellows just never frickin' dry. The cool colors, greens, blues, purples, all fine, totally fine. Unfortunately, so this will be all right. I can hear my phone ringing too, which is not good. I have to go pick that up. Thanks guys for watching. Keep on creating. My head's been cut off this entire time. And I'll see you guys next time.